voids in your life will come and go. Life can simply be filling your time with something or someone, as simple as it sounds, as difficult as it may be to accept. Unfortunately, a lot of people go through their lives filling it up with pointless shit, really, that is not important to them. Spending 8 hours in an office, spending time with friends and family who they don't want to spend time with, doing activities that they no longer enjoy, buying stuff for the sake of buying stuff and getting validation from others. I recently lost my mum a few months ago, and for me this was the biggest moment of my life, and I think the biggest change that I will experience in my whole life, adapting to a new life really, and moving on from that has been very difficult, and naturally is still taking me some time to kind of realise where my next steps lie. This was a period where before she passed away, I was very busy with my life. I was looking after my mum. I was visiting her most days in hospital. I was working 2 jobs. I was trying to focus on the YouTube. I was still hitting the gym, still trying to improve myself, still trying to make some part of a social life. So going from kind of all of this and then her passing away to kind of nothing, so to speak. Obviously there's a lot of things to sort out when, someone passes away. There's a lot of things you have to deal with naturally that are very uncomfortable and stuff you don't want to deal with, but you have to. But this was a kind of a shift where I had so much going on in my life to, everything kind of just stopped and went to a standstill. You can kind of maybe look at this in your life when you went from working a lot and having a busy social life to when the pandemic hit and we all had to stay inside. It's kind of a very kind of similar, without the emotional turmoil experience that everyone experienced in their life, and you learn to be like, okay, well, I've got all this extra time on my hands, but what do I fill it with? And like I say, unfortunately, a lot of people fill it with the wrong things. They fill it with spending time on things that they don't actually enjoy, and things that don't improve their life, and things that, and people especially, that they know are no good for them and they don't actually enjoy being around, because that's what they've probably done throughout their life, and they think, well, I've done this and I know this and it's comfortable and it's not that bad, but I don't really want to do it. I kind of feel like I could move on to something else now. That happens a lot. And like I say, a few months in my life have passed since this moment, and it's taken a while to adapt to a new normal for me. A normal to you is very different, and it will be, and it should be to every single person what you define as that. And you're going to go through periods of your life. That's why I wanted to make this video, where you will have voids in your life. You will go through a period like this when you lose your parent or parents, significant other, family, friends, and it's something that a lot of people don't want to think about, but it's an important thing that you do think about. And if you do kind of think about it, meditate it before it happens, then you'll put yourself in a greater position, and you'll probably be prepared to kind of move on with that, because I feel like that's something that I probably didn't really think, what is my life going to be like without my mum? And a very difficult, and a lot of the time we watch these videos or we listen to people who have experienced a similar situation to what we're going through, and they're on the other side, and we don't actually take their advice. We still have to have that life lesson ourselves. I believe that's very important, but you have to accept that this is going to be part of your life. And I'm sure if you've had a decent amount of life experience so far, there's been periods in your life where there has been voids, there has been gaps, where you've not had a very busy life and other things haven't maybe gone the way that you have wanted them to go. Like I said, on a smaller scale, there'll be periods in your life where you're without work, without job opportunities. You might have broke up with your significant other who you've been with for years. And this obviously is not the same as losing someone like your parent or someone significant in your life, but you're going to have times where you're going to not have a lot to do, and you have to define this period as a new stage, a new chapter in your life. And we see that boredom and a lack of social connection is what has created some of the greatest inventions and some of the best entrepreneurs in our lifetime. and times before us have been just bored and been like, you know what, I need to create something. And naturally, as human beings, we want to be doing things. It's all good and well and good and thinking, you know, I have all this time and I have all this money to have all this freedom, but naturally we see pretty much every single person get bored of that lifestyle of, you know, being on a beach and chilling out and relaxing after a certain period. We all want to do things in our life, and I think it's important that when we have these voids in our life where we maybe don't know exactly where we are going to head to next, exactly what we want from our life, that we spend some time to meditate on this and decide what we want in our life and create a better future for ourselves, and also very much enjoy the present and spend time with people we love and care about and enjoy every single thing that we are doing in our life, because that's a big problem. A lot of people suffer for the sake of suffering, and yes, it's important to think, okay, where am I going to head next, but to also maybe use this period in your life where there's not too much to go on to maybe catch up and reconnect with certain people in your life who have maybe slipped away because you've been busy. Like I say, naturally, a lot of people get caught up in so much bullshit, and something that you could do after watching this video is write down every thing commitment that you have and think, okay, do I need this in my life? Think about your job, think about your relationships, think about your time you spend in fitness, exercise, in kind of the broader important areas in your life, and think, okay, maybe I don't need to do this, maybe I could change this, and maybe if I just focus on 3 or 4 things and put an hour into them each day, I would actually alleviate a lot of the bullshit, pointless stuff in my life that's kind of just a fat and fluff in my life, and be like, I can free up all this time and I can spend this time kind of doing nothing originally, and thinking, okay, you will open up a lot of different avenues in your mind to be like, okay, maybe I should do this, maybe I'm not doing this right, I'm doing this wrong. And you know, it's hard, it's a hard conversation to have with yourself. That's why I know a lot of people won't do this, and you know, won't have the courage to sit and the humility to admit, okay, maybe what I'm doing is not actually intrinsically right for myself. And that's something that I'm doing right now, and I've had a lot more time on my hands where I will just sit alone, and I very much try, like I've said in many of my videos, to avoid spending a lot of time on social media. Do I fall into the trap sometimes? Yes, of course I do, but I'm spending a lot more time just sitting by myself, and naturally I'm someone who enjoys spending time with myself, but I'm asking myself a lot of questions and thinking about, what do I truly value? What is my vision? Where do I want to be in my life? And making sure that these are for the right reasons. And that is the important thing, because we naturally, in the world we live in and social media and society, we are pushed by gurus, by society, to believe that we want these certain things, and we can want these things, but they probably won't bring us anything that we truly will make us fulfilled and happy and improve our life in anything holistically anyway. And I think that a lot of young people struggle with this. They don't have a lot going on in their life. They don't have a big kind of mission purpose. And something that I've always kind of struggled with. And I think if you don't kind of have that, if your life is pretty much all you do is work a normal job and maybe you go to gym, you know what, this is good compared to how a lot of people live their life. You're not doing a lot of bad habits. But then in your spare time, you're like, well, okay, what do I do now? I know a lot of young guys are single, they're not in a relationship. A lot of people choosing not to be in relationships. A lot of people choosing not to have kids either. I'm not saying this is right or wrong, or you should or shouldn't do these things, but it's kind of priorities that our parents and grandparents would have, getting a house, etc., that we no longer have as our priorities. And we need to find new priorities, and you have to define what they are inside of you, because they're going to be the things that make you tick, and they're going to be the things that you will discover if you have, once you go through this void period in your life, which you might choose to have. You might voluntarily be like, you know what, I need this. I think a lot of people need this because they go through life working a career that is not truly for them. They have this title, they may be a lawyer, they may be an accountant, they may be even an athlete, a movie star, all of these types of things, and that's their image, that's how they see themselves, how they present themselves to the world, how other people see them is, you know, that's John the accountant, that's Susan the lawyer, or whoever it may be. And that's to be like, well, I'm a lawyer, I can't change my career, I can't do this. And this is a bit of a tangent, so to speak, but it's important that you be like, okay, maybe, that's not me anymore, and I can be more than this, and I can use this period now, whether I like it or not. It's a silver lining that a lot of the time we see in our lives afterwards, after the event that is unpleasant, the hardest times are what makes us stronger, is what make the best moments in our lives. To be like, you know what, I can use this time now to actually think, who am I? Who am I? I'm more than just a title. I'm, an infinite being, which I can create whatever I want. I can do multiple different things, whether that be my career. I can define exactly who I am. I'm not a title. I'm not a job description or anything like that. And use this time, like I say, to truly meditate on that and create a life that is aligned with your values and vision. And that's a very important thing as a side topic that you decide when deciding who you're going to spend the rest of your life with as an intimate partner, because a lot of people don't do that. They'll just go for the easy option. And like I say, it's these difficult times, it's these times on your own where you are meditating on life and where you want to be. In the long run, you're going to be extremely grateful that you did this. Trust me, you are going to be extremely grateful. I am myself for the last few years, and I'm only getting better at doing this. I'm asking myself new questions that I never thought I'd ask, and this is always going to be the case. I know that now. It's a lifelong journey, and I want you to use these periods to think about that and to find something that is bigger than you, than a job, than yourself. And that's exactly what this period in your life is for. So maybe take a voluntary void period, quit your job, and you know what, I've always said, what's the worst that's going to happen? You can go back and get that job again. I'm sure you will if you're a good person, you're good at your job, which I'm sure you are, hopefully, if you're watching this content. But I hope this video has helped you. It's been important for me to get this video out here for myself, so I hope you can relate to this. And if you need any more guidance about how you can kind of fill these void periods in your life that I've experienced a few of in my life so far, and probably the hardest one, then I hope to think that I'm the person you could come and speak to. So my one-to-one personal coaching link will be in the description. If you can like and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated, and I shall see you in the next video. Take care now.